From Ungaron's Old Square to Semarang, traffic lights, dust, and street stories that morning. The sun had risen high. Its golden rays reflected off the warming asphalt, and the sky above Ungaron's Old Square was clear and cloudless. The clock struck 15 minutes past 9 when the sound of horns began to dominate the air. The line of vehicles began to thicken, and the traffic light at the town square intersection came back into action. Small motorcycles, private cars, and even heavily laden trucks crowded together. On the side of the road, vendors were starting to set up their stalls. An elderly newspaper seller stood under a traffic light pole, clutching a bundle of morning newspapers that hadn't been touched by many customers. He occasionally glanced at motorists, hoping someone would glance at him, or better yet buy the newspaper. "Sir, it was just published this morning," he called out to a motorcyclist wearing an online motorcycle taxi jacket. This traffic light wasn't just a stopping point for vehicles. It served as a small stage where street people danced for a while in between the hours. A long-haired boy carried a small barrel and performed a makeshift percussion instrument. Next to him, a young woman with a toddler in her arms offered tissues, candy, and sometimes just a raised hand. When the light turned green, the atmosphere changed instantly. Engines roared, dust flew, and the streets became noisy again. But that was only the beginning. From here, the journey to Semarang was long, filled with other traffic lights, other stories. Crossing Gedangan and Burgas, sun-scorched roads after Ungaron's old town, vehicles flowed towards Gedangan and Burgas. The road began to slope, cutting through small hills and densely packed houses on either side. The sun was already rising, making your helmet feel like a walking oven. Here, there weren't as many traffic lights as in the city center, but traffic jams could still occur at any time. Sometimes due to illegal parking, sometimes due to public transportation Angkot parked haphazardly dotted the Gedangan intersection. The red light lingered for quite some time. Drivers in the front row often looked anxious. A young man in a black Avanza tapped his fingers on the steering wheel, rolled down the window, and lit a cigarette. Next to him, a woman in a pickup truck carrying her banana harvest wiped sweat from her brow. On the sidewalk, a thawed ice vendor tried to sell his wares through the car window. "It's refreshing, sir. Authentic thawed ice, sweet and cold," he said. Often they weren't noticed, but sometimes one or two customers would roll down their windows and buy. In just 2 minutes at a red light, a small story could happen. Journeys. And the red light is life itself. From Ungaron's Old Square to the heart of Semarang, red lights bear witness to the many facets of life. They are not just stop or go signs. They are a pause for those busy, a stage for those seeking a living, and a small mirror of life's complexities. Each red light carries its own story of waiting, hope, frustration, and even warmth. From small traders and buskers to children accompanying their parents in their trade, all traverse the hot, crowded day, with dust and honking horns as the main rhythm. This journey is not just about distance, but also about time and experience. And throughout it all, the red light is never truly red. It glows with the pulse of thousands of people moving along. Tembalang is known as a student area. Traffic here becomes increasingly congested, especially around lunchtime. Many students, On motorbikes weave their way from their boarding houses to campus, from campus to food stalls. The red light at the Tembelang intersection often tests your patience. Horns honk, and sometimes motorbikes try to speed even though the light is still red. Amidst the congestion, a meatball vendor slowly slips to the side of the road, pushing his cart while wiping away sweat. Tlagasari is a bit different. Here, the market atmosphere is more pronounced. Drivers must be wary of women crossing with groceries or children who suddenly appear between vehicles. The red light at the Tlagasari intersection is sometimes ineffective, especially if someone breaks through. A transportation agency officer stands on the side of the road, blowing a loud whistle. Don't break through. The light is still red, he shouts. But still, one or two motorbikes pass by, seemingly unconcerned. In the sweltering heat, everyone seems in a hurry. But that's the road, life goes on, even if it means breaking the rules. Entering Semarang City, Simpang Lima, and the final crossroads. When we finally entered downtown Semarang, specifically around Simpang Lima, the atmosphere changed drastically. The sidewalks were wider, buildings towered, and traffic lights stood tall with a more orderly system. But that didn't mean it was calmer. The traffic lights at Simpang Lima are notoriously long. Here, vehicles can stop for up to 4 minutes, especially during rush hour. Luxury cars and vintage motorcycles mingled endlessly. During these long pauses, street musicians began to perform. With small guitars and off-key voices, they sang old songs. Some drivers offered, others looked away. A family in an Avanza looked tired. A small child in the back seat cried, while his mother fed him snacks to calm him down. The driver looked ahead, counting the seconds. Several people opened map apps, hoping for an alternative route. On the left side of the road, a watermelon seller with a cart waited for the red light. Every time a vehicle stopped, he quickly approached the window. Plastic bags containing cold watermelon slices are selling well in the hot afternoon sun in the city.